Kind of. Depends. Volume, cones, and spheres. I'm going to start with pyramids. So if you want to write pyramids, we're going to do everything under that first. Just going to talk about pyramids. So what is a pyramid? I have a definition. And then the formula. And I'm actually going to change the formula a little bit so you don't have to do it with the fraction. Okay? So if you don't want to write the formula yet, you don't have to. I'll do that in a second. So pyramid is a base, that's a polygon, and the sides meet at a vertex. Everybody remember what a vertex is? The point. Good, the point. And then the good news today is when we deal with pyramids, it's most likely going to be sitting on the base. Okay? So a pyramid only has one base, you guys. And usually it's a triangle or a rectangle or a square. So you'll know what the base is today. It won't be a confusing thing like yesterday. Formula, I'm going to write it like this. Base times height, that's a B, times height. Actually, I'm going to rewrite that. Base times height divided by 3. Multiplying by a third and dividing by 3 is the same thing. The reason why I'm showing you this is so you don't have to worry with the fraction. Okay? Simple? Yeah. Now, if I look at this formula, what looks familiar to you? The B and the H. First of all, what did we do yesterday? We did the big B and the H, right? So that should not be new to you. You should have some kind of knowledge of what the B and the H is. Now, when we did that yesterday, what were we actually finding the volume of, though? No. The prisms, right? Not triangular prisms. B times H was any prism. Remember? Was any prism. B might be different, but because of the base. But this formula right here was just for the prism. Remember? Every prism had that formula. Now let's think about this. So when you start to find a pyramid, what are you really finding in the beginning? You're finding a prism, right? Because base times height is the big B times the height is the prism, right? Now dividing by 3. Now why would dividing by 3 come up with the pyramid volume? The prism. 3 of these. Because remember I poured them in water last year. Remember the water? Sorry, Larissa. We put water in here, and I remember he said, how many do you think is going to fill this? Oh, like 2. Oh, like 1.5. I was like, so I filled it up, and guess what? It came to about right there. Like, oh, probably 4 now. I'm like, okay. And then they're like, oh, 3 1/4. Jeez, guys. So I filled it up, and actually, how many of these fit in here? Exactly 3. Yeah. It doesn't even lose a drop. So exactly pyramids make a prism. And if I want to find the volume of one pyramid, why do I need to divide by 3? That's going to tell me what 1 is. Okay? So that beginning you're finding that prism. Okay, it's like pretend this was in a prism, and then I'm going to divide by 3 to figure out what one of those pyramids are. So let's practice. And I'm actually going to start with this one. We're going to come back to this one. We're going to start with this one. Okay? We're going to start with this one. If you don't know how to draw it, what you're going to do is you're going to make the bottom first. So something like this. Okay? And then I usually make a dot. And I connect the sides. And there's my pyramid. It's a little tilted, but I usually make it, I don't know, it's hard for me to write straight on this side of the board. So that's a pyramid. So you make sure if you need an example, you draw something like that in your notebook. And then make sure that you get the dimensions in there. You get the dimensions in there. Together. Question? First of all, I'm going to say something. Before I do anything, I would start by putting up here the formula. Okay? So, B means the area of my base. What is the base in this thing? What shape is the base? No, rectangle. If it was a square, these two things would be the exact same length, okay? I know what you mean. So to find my big B, how can I find the area of my 10 times 8? Okay, that's the area of my base. Now I'm going to multiply by what? 6. That's going to tell me how high it is. And then, so this, actually, when I come up with that, that's really what? Technically the volume of a what? Volume of a what? A prism, yep. And then dividing by 3 is going to give me what? The pyramid. So, it's, yeah, 48, no, it's 80 times 6, right? Divided by 3. Is it 160? 60 inches cubed. Okay, if you're putting in your calculator, you put the top in first. Equal it, then divide at the end. Sometimes if you put your dividing by 3 in, sometimes things get screwed up, so make sure you do one step at a time. How are we doing so far? Okay, so you should already know how to do this part. This is the only new part to you. That's it. Let's do another one. Let's do a triangular one. We'll do this one right here. What? Okay. If you want to make sure you know how to draw it, this is what you can do. Here's the bottom. There you go. It's not great, but close enough. You get the point. So I'm going to do B times the height divided by 3. So let's talk about the base here first. How about we do this one together and do the next one yourself? Is that okay? Since this is a triangle one. So, okay, so I'm going to use this and I'm going to use this. So 8 times 6 divided by 2. That's my big B. That's the area of my base. That you have to do that first. 8 times 6 is 48. 48 divided by 2 would be 24, right? So 24. And then what am I going to multiply by? Yeah, because that's the height of the whole pyramid. And then I'm going to divide by 3, because that's the last thing I need to do. 24 times 5, 120. Divided by 3 would be 40 centimeters cubed. Okay? So look for the fairly familiar from yesterday. Okay? The only difference is you have to divide by 3 at the total end. By this? Why am I doing this? It's a triangle. I got to find the area of the base. And my base to this thing is a triangle. What it's sitting on is that triangle. Okay, let's do another triangle. Okay? So let's say okay, that's not great, but we're going with the flow. Okay, and so let's say the bottom is 10 centimeters. Let's say the height, I don't know, is, let's do 7 centimeters. Or the height of the base, I suppose, and the height of the whole pyramid will make 5 centimeters. See if you can do it by yourself. I'll even write this up here for you. It will, that's okay. It's fine. In my, I think my other class I use these two, and I think it does come out repeating. Because even if you start with your base, the area of your base is already a decimal. 70 divided by 2 will be a decimal. Oh yeah, duh. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Okay, that's what I was doing, Maddie. Yeah. I don't know. Did you divide by 3 at the end? So the base would be 7 times 10 divided by 2. Really? That's crazy to me. Don't do that. Don't do that. They don't know what you're doing in that formula, though. Okay? Don't do that. times 5. So it would have been 35 times 5. I don't know what's that. 5, carry the 2. 175 divided by 3. Okay, anybody have questions on this? We're good? Just don't. If you're already confused, don't. Just stick with. What do you mean? This is what we did yesterday. We just did divide by 3. Yes. This is what we did. We just didn't do the last part. I don't know either. Okay, next thing is cones. 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 3D figure has a circular base and a curved surface and a single vertex. Nope. Not a triangle. They're pretty much all the same, except for spheres are not. Yep. So, you have to have the radius today. No diameter involved. You have to have the radius again, like when we found area that time. Have to have that. 2 formulas you can use today. Now I'm going to show you why both of these are similar. You can do divide by 3, or you can do divided by 3. Okay, does that make sense? I'm taking out the third. I just changed it a little bit. You don't freak out yet. It's the same thing. You are right. I recommend using the one on the far right. The far right. They are the same thing. Well, because what is this, you guys? That's the area, the base. So that's why these 2 things are the same. It's just I have the area formula written out so you can see it. Okay? That's why I would choose that one so I won't forget what thing goes along with the circle. So I would use this one. Pi radius squared times, don't forget times your height. Some people forget that. Divided by 3. Sometimes it depends what your numbers are. Depends what your numbers are. All right. Everybody got something down? We're talking about death in 7th grade religion. I know, how nice. Okay, so here's your cone. If you don't know how to draw it, you're just going to draw a circle down. You can draw your, that's how you draw a cone. First of all, please make sure you write out the equation so you know what you're doing. So you know it's pi radius squared times your height divided by 3. This is the same thing. You know, if I would have taken this and this, I would have poured water in there, it would have been 3 times. That's why we're dividing by 3 again. Same thing. So 3.14 times 5 times 5, because that's what radius squared is, times 7 divided by 3. It's most likely going to be a decimal for 2 reasons, because you're dealing with 3.14, and when you divide by 3, a lot of times it doesn't come out even anyway. So a lot of these will be decimals. Probably. Is that the same formula? And then you had to divide by 3. It's the same thing, only you just mix around 2 numbers. You are? Yeah, that is smart. You know, multiplication, you can put in whatever order you want. Whatever order you want. So, 3.14 times 5 times 5 times 7 divided by 3. I don't remember what the answer is. 183.16 millimeters cubed. 6. There. Not the 1. Okay, not too bad, right? Okay, you do one by yourself now. Okay, so what did I do? What did I do? I gave you the diameter. What do you need? Okay, so careful, because that's the first one on your homework today. Looks like something like this. No. It does? Times 3.14? No way. Really? So it would look like this, 3.14 times 5 times 5 times 6 divided by 3. Really? Wow, I would not be able to do that if I tried. That's pretty good. Yeah. What would it come out to be? 157 centimeters cubed. No way. That's cool. Cool. That's cool. Okay, not too bad, right? Okay, so we know how to do pyramids and we know how to do cones. Now let's go to spheres. No. This reminds me of you, Carver Ruland. Why would this remind me of you? No. The Earth is a sphere. S-P-H-E-R-E. Sphere. Come on, Carver. You do know it. That's your speech. Oh. That's your speech. I was like, I knew it sounded really familiar. You only practiced it for like 3 months last year. No big deal. Oh, I'm going to change this formula again for you to make it easier so you don't have to worry about the fraction. The Earth is a sphere. This is the formula I'm going to have you use. 4 pi radius cubed divided by 3. No, it's not. Do you want to do 4/3 on your calculator too bad? Then not that complicated. It's what? Yes. Yes. Yep. So you're going to take 4 times pi times radius times radius times radius, divide by 3. Yep. All right, so that's what you got to know. It makes sure it's written in your notebook. So let's go to the first one. If you need to draw one of these, you just draw a circle and make a curved line in the middle. That's like your front. And then your back, you're going to make one that's just dotted. Yep. Yeah, I know. It's kind of fun. Okay, you want to try it by yourself? It is an 8. Sorry. I just can't see that. Yep. It does. Yeah, it's a big number. So you would have done, did you remember to multiply by the 4? This. That's what it should look like. 2 things you're going to remember here. You're going to forget to multiply by 4 in the front, and you forget to take the radius 3 times, probably. One thing you hear is right. Yeah, really, no. Be humble, please. Be humble. It's a little chilly. Okay, answer. Rain, what'd you get? 3 repeating? Inches. don't know. You guys, it's going to ask you to round to the nearest 10th in your homework today. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do one more. I'm going to have you find the volume of this little guy. Okay? The radius is 1. Find the volume of this thing if the radius is 1. It should be 1 times 1 times 1. No. Then 4 times 3.14 divided by 3 equals 4 something. That means that I could fit, in this thing, I could fit 4 square inches, or 4 cube inches in here, and mash them all in there. It doesn't look like 4 would fit in there, because, geez, an inch is pretty big, so have a square inch. Here's an inch. So think of having a cube that looks like that, 1 by 1 by 1. Think about 4. Like that. A lot of them come with like a bottom or a top, because I think you can put stuff in them. So, how are we feeling? I'm just gonna tell you today, there's no surprises at all in this homework, but I do want you to open it because I want to show you a few problems, I guess, in it. What? Nope, I made sure of that.